This is the all-new Battenkill disc fly reel, and it's the latest generation of Orvis's highly popular Battenkill lineup. Today, I'm here to review it. If you're a subscriber to our channel or a frequent follower, you probably noticed that we recently reviewed a Battenkill disc. So why are we doing it again? Well, as it turns out, we reviewed it at the end of its life, and Orvis decided to release a new version. And it's pretty much what happened with the Battenkill Click that we also just reviewed. So here it is, the brand new version of the Battenkill disc. And frankly, it's pretty much the same as the old one, with one major exception, and that's going to be the fit and finish. And frankly, the anodize and the color and the feel of this reel is just a lot better. And now that you've seen the great new finish here, let's dive into our review with the 5 factors, starting with the drag. And the drag on this Battenkill disc is pretty good. Orvis says it's sealed. I say it's probably sealed-ish. What I mean by that is some reels are more sealed than others, and this one is probably on the less sealed end. It's also got about 2 1/4 turns of drag with a hard stop on the low end and no hard stop on the top end, so you can really crank that down if you so chose. Overall, this drag has a fair amount of strength. I'd put it into that 4+ pound range. It's really quite a lot for a reel that is on the small side and designed for freshwater fishing. Definitely more than you're ever gonna need. Of course, this being a Battenkill disc, you could use it for some light saltwater duty, though we're reviewing the size 2 today, and that probably wouldn't be my first choice for saltwater. There's a 3 and a 4, they're definitely more designed and bigger for those saltwater applications. That said, when it comes to drag, you've got plenty. It does, however, feel a little bit sticky. In today's drag market, most of the drags are silky smooth. This one is probably not quite as smooth as some of the other ones out there. Up next is the spool, and the spool on the Battenkill disc, like the last version, is decidedly mid-arbor. And frankly, when you pick up this reel, even though it's a 3 to 5 weight as opposed to a 5 to 7 weight, it is quite a small reel. This reel in no way feels large, and the performance on the spool reflects that. So we've got a max diameter of 2.7 inches, a width of 0.9 inches, and an arbor size of 1.5 inches. And while that width is still relatively narrow, it's that arbor size that kills the performance here. You're only going to get roughly 5.5 inches per turn of retrieval rate, which is 210 turns or so for your 100-foot fly line, and that is pretty slow, and by today's standards, really slow. It's definitely not traditional arbor slow, but it's not a big step up either. In terms of capacities, I'd say you can comfortably put about 75 yards of backing with your weight forward 5-weight line. Obviously, if you're using a 3-weight, you'll be able to fit a lot more, but this is going to be plenty of backing for your freshwater applications. So let's talk about weight. And this reel here comes in at 4.6 ounces, which is really fairly light. It's not a super light reel, but because it doesn't have that super large arbor and that larger frame, Orvis is able to make a relatively inexpensive reel that is still pretty light. 4.6 ounces is definitely going to be fine on virtually every rod out there. It's just not going to be the absolute lightest, but I think at this price point, that's totally okay. So let's talk about the sound, and the sound sounds a lot like the old version. Let's have a listen. It's pretty muted. It's probably one of my least favorite things about this Battenkill disc. It's just fine. It does give you some feedback. There's really no audible differentiation between the incoming and the outgoing, but there's a sound. This review is brought to you by Trident Travel, which is our new destination travel service where you'll get our expert advice, planning, and guidance at no additional cost. That means no credit card fees, no booking fees, and for a limited time, you'll even earn Trident rewards on your travel bookings. So with every trip you book, you'll be earning valuable points that you can use towards free tackle here at Trident. Recently, we've had some clients go on some absolutely fantastic trips like bone fishing in Belize, steelhead fishing in BC, and tarpon fishing in Belize. So if you're thinking about taking a fly fishing trip, Trident Travel is the way to do it. We've got a ton of great destinations, excellent service, and even more destinations being added every month. Check us out at tridentflyfishing.com/travel. And last but not least is the Ergonomics, and the Ergonomics are also fine on this reel. You've got a handle that's comfortable to grab, and while it's not my absolute favorite, it's totally fine and gets the job done. We've got a spool release that's really easy. Spool comes off with minimal effort and no parts to lose. And you've got a drag knob that you can also grasp fairly easily. Again, some of the better drag knobs are bigger, they stick out a little bit more, making them a little bit easier to grasp, but for freshwater fishing especially, totally fine. All in all, this is, like I already told you, pretty much the same reel as the old version, but one that looks a lot better. And frankly, that was always a limitation on the old Battenkill disc. It did everything you needed it to do, but it just didn't look that good. If you're hanging this reel on an expensive rod, which maybe you should, maybe you shouldn't, that's a debate for another time, it just looked like it wasn't that expensive. Now, the anodize really lives up to the Battenkill name, and I think you could comfortably put this on a higher end rod, and it just won't look bad, which I think is what Orvis was going for. And last but not least is going to be the price on this reel, and that comes in at $179, which frankly is a pretty good deal. There are so many reels in today's market that are coming in at $300+ At $179, while this isn't made in the US, it is definitely a very high quality product, and it looks just as good as some reels that cost a lot more. Tell us what you think about this new finish, which comes in a black and a copper, as well as this olive. Probably say the olive is my favorite, by leaving us a comment in the box below. And don't forget, if you want more reel reviews, hit that like and subscribe button because it really helps us out. And of course, if you've got questions about this Battenkill disc, we've got answers. Give us a call at 888-413-5211 or email us 24/7 at support@tridentflyfishing.com. I'm Ben. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.